What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Auto. My name is Max, and today we are taking a look at this. We're taking a stroll down memory lane and going back in history. This is the quintessential hot hatch, the Volkswagen Golf GTI. This is a Mark 1 from 1983, which means it's one of the very last Mark 1 GTIs, and it is part of the historical fleet of PON, the Dutch VW importer. They've been importer for VW since 1947, and well, it is really cool that we get to drive this car in such a great condition. It is a restored car, so today I'm going to show you around it. We'll take a look at this beautiful little car, and then we'll take it for a drive on this nice B road. No Autobahn today for obvious reasons, but still should be a lot of fun to have a little go in this, well, iconic little car. So let's start with the Golf Mark 1 in general. It was introduced in 1974 and it is designed by Giugiaro in his origami principle, so folded paper, folded sheets of paper. So from the 60s to the 70s, all the round shapes, it kind of changed to this square rectangular, which is a very nice design. So this is the successor to the VW Beetle, basically the new car for the people, and it was very successful, the Mark 1 Golf in general, but the GTI as well. So after they introduced the Golf, there were 8 people who were secretly developing the Golf GTI. They were sort of motorsport enthusiasts, and they wanted to spice up the Golf. So this is like a true, they did this at night, and it was a skunkworks project. It really was. They were sneaking in parts developed for the GTI into regular testing so that they could test the parts for the GTI. And I think that is just so cool. It was such a romantic period, and back when car making actually was still sort of romantic and cool, and there were just engineers trying different things. I really like that. So they developed this little GTI basically, and then in 1975 they presented it to the management board, and it was approved. So in 1976 they started building these GTIs. So let's take a look at what they did to set the GTI apart from the regular Golf. Of course, we've got the iconic red edge around the grille, the red line, which was only shortly abandoned by the Golf 4 GTI, but all other GTIs have a red accent in the grille. You have a GTI logo there, little VW badge, and of course the beautiful double headlights, but that is not GTI specific, of course. We do have this little chin spoiler that runs down here, which is so cool. It just gives this car such a cool look from the front. It is immediately like little rally car. Very cool. This is Mars red, by the way, a beautiful color for this car. Now, because they fitted these wider wheels and tires, a 175 at the front here, I think 175 all around, on a 13-inch wheel, they had to get these fenders a little bit wider, and so they added these extensions in this black plastic, which immediately just gives it a cool look. Also because the car itself is very narrow, and then you have these arches, these wider arches that, relatively speaking, are very wide, so they do a lot for the appearance of the car. The GTI also got a lowered suspension and stiffer suspension, different dampers, and then it also got ventilated discs at the front and still had drums at the rear. Yeah, so 175 Continental Eco Contact 6 here. Very nice. Little sunroof as well, which is awesome on a day like this. And then at the rear, beautifully sculpted fenders as well. And you got this matte black surround for the rear window on the GTI. And of course the GTI badge, little exhaust here, which is kind of angled, looks cool. And then you have this boot. Oh, it smells amazing. It smells like petrol and other old stuff. Very nice. It's in really good condition, this car. Little line down the side as well. And if we take a look at the engine, we can see that this is a 1.8 liter. So it started out with a 1.6 liter. The Golf 1 had engines ranging from 1.1 liters to 1.8. But the first GTIs had a 1.6 liter engine with a 4-speed manual gearbox. In 1979 they introduced a 5-speed, and then in 1982 it got the 1.8 liter. It's basically the same engine but with the bore and stroke enlarged. So you end up with a 1.8 liter with a little bit more torque as well. So the earlier versions, the 1.6s, have 110 horsepower, 137 newton meters of torque. And then the later versions, the 1.8, have 112 horsepower and 150 newton meters of torque, and the torque is also available a little bit earlier. So I would say the 1.8, you know, the torque is nice, but apparently the 1.6 with the 5-speed is the one you want to have. The 1.6 apparently is a little bit more aggressive of an engine, and yeah, I read somewhere that the 1.6 5-speed is the one to have. So what else? We've got anti-roll bars front and rear for the GTI. I think they also did some chassis fortification because they were worried about, you know, this fast of a car, like this powerful of an engine back then, put into this little Golf. They were worried about safety and stuff, so they really tried to get everything in order. Golf 1 apparently, by the way, during the development, from October 1974 to January 15th, 1975, they drove 2 Golf 1s from Alaska to Tierra del Fuego, which is like the most southern point of South America. So all the way over 30,000 kilometers to test the durability of the Golf 1, which is super cool. Let's get this closed up. So when they started production, or when they greenlit the project, it was the idea to build 5,000 units so that they would meet the homologation demands for Group 1 touring car racing, and that was their plan. So 5,000 units, that's it. And then I think they ended up building 462,000 of these because they were just so popular, and at some point they were selling over 500 a month. So yeah, it was a very popular car. So inside we've got a lovely boxy design, both for the dashboard but also for the gauges. As you can see, it has like a square design, super nice, bringing the outside design in here as well. And then the last person to be brought onto the project, which was the 9th person, introduced this seat design and the golf ball shifter as well, which of course now is also iconic. But the problem with cars like this is that there are a lot of stories around. So I also read somewhere that it was some kind of executive who really liked golf and just screwed a golf ball on there. But then I read somewhere else that it was a designer, an interior designer who did this. So I don't know. So this particular version, we have some info here. Mars Red, as I said, it's a 1983, so a very, very late one. 810 kilos, which is kind of nuts. And Gran Turismo Iniezione, or Grand Tour Injection. That is what GTI stands for. And Golf, there are also different stories about that, where it comes from. Some say it's from the Gulf Stream, some say it's from the sport of golf, and some say it is named after a horse that was named Golf. I don't know. I don't know, you decide for yourself which story to believe. But yeah, really nice interior. It's not bad actually, space-wise, for such an old car and such a small car. So let's start it up. Yeah, I love old cars. It smells so nice in here, so lovely. The smell of this like oil, petrol, old fabrics, it just is amazing. This one has done 176,000 kilometers at one point because it's no longer working. So I don't know how much it actually has done. And we have some gauges down there as well. So yeah, let's go for a little drive and see what it's like. A lot of vibration from the interior, but that kind of disappears when you rev it up. And what else? Yeah, gearbox can be quite difficult, but especially when it's cold. So when the oil heats up, it becomes much more doable. So I'm keeping the roof open for a bit of sound, but also for a bit of ventilation. Here we go. GTI on a nice B road. What is this like? Well, of course, it's very old, so everything is super indirect. Everything vibrates. But I will say that second gear, it's not a slow car. So even after all these years, it still feels like a zippy little hatchback, which is so cool. That just means that they did such a good job back then. Oh, brakes are very bad. Oh, but it still feels relatively quick, and definitely quick enough for modern day traffic, I would say. Oh, steering super indirect, no power steering, of course. So handling wise, as you can see, super indirect, but once you get it into a corner or sort of set that suspension, it works really well. I barely fit in it, but I do, which is just a miracle of itself. But see, this is not like even full attack mode, and it's just fine. I did 9.5 seconds 0 to 100, which that is not bad. Also really good. It's nice and firm, but it's not crashy, or you know, it doesn't send like a jolt through the entire car and you're afraid that the car is going to break in half. It's actually really good. So what I really like about driving old cars as well is the feedback you get. There's a lot of feedback, of course, all the vibration, but also you just feel everything through your butt so well. Like the road surface changes in the road, but also what the car is doing. Because, you know, you don't feel that through the steering wheel because it is so indirect. So you have to trust your butt senses to feel what is going on and what's happening with the car. So here we go, full throttle, little bit of revs. This is so fun. Oh, I love old cars. I really do love them. There's just so much more character and yeah, more. This is what being a petrolhead is based on, cars like this. So to be able to drive that is just magic. So apparently prices of GTIs, she was smiling, prices of GTIs Mark 1s, like proper Mark 1s, are quite high. And you see that across the board. Like cool old cars are just so expensive now. It's not even fun anymore, and the problem with that is that people drive them less and less because, you know, they don't want to, first, well, they don't want to crash it, but also they don't want to put too many miles on it, because then the value goes down and blah 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 blah. It's not fun. So I have to get the windows down a little bit more because it's really hot in here, but let's do a little bit of a launch. I don't really want to strain it too much, but you can see that that's not bad. It's really not slow. I thought it would be a lot slower actually. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, prices have gone up, so you don't see them that often anymore. They mostly are in collections, just, yeah, getting more expensive every year, which of course it's a good thing on one hand that these cars have gotten the appreciation that they deserve, and that people are oh, that I lost my train of thought there. So anyway, that's why I'm extra happy that we get to drive this particular one, which is so nice. It transports you to simpler times, and to a time where cars were just, I don't know, just more sympathetic. Just they had a personality. All right, so nice little road here. The cornering is really not bad. If you just forget about that super indirect steering, once you get it into a corner, it's so nice. And you can really, if you go into a corner hard enough, it will lift its inner rear wheel. You can slide it around if you let off the throttle at the right or the wrong time, depending on how you look at that. It's so cool. It also sounds nice. And that's not even exhaust, that is just all engine sound. Hey, little horse. You see, we always have horses in our reviews. It's just, you just have to have a horse in an Autotop.nl review. Oh, what a car, what an experience. I hope that I've been able to convey to you a little bit what it's like to drive this legendary little hot hatch. Yeah, we should look for other cars. Let me know in the comments what cars you would like to see on our channel. Cars like this, I would love to do like a 1.9 205 GTI Peugeot, you know, stuff like that. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see. And big thanks to VW in the Netherlands for letting us have a go in their amazing Golf GTI Mk1 from '83. I've had a blast, and I hope you enjoyed it too. So you can subscribe by clicking the big button. Make sure you do that. You can also check out this video, this playlist on the left, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.